Most Americans today can sense that there is something serious going on in our country. It's a feeling of angst. It's a feeling of genuine, serious concern. It feels like a war is being waged on us, on our society, on our ideals, on our values. Well, that's exactly what is occurring. A war is being waged, but it's not a war in the traditional sense. This type of war uses neither bomb nor bullet, yet it is just as lethal. It's called political warfare. It's an asymmetric, unconventional type of warfare that encompasses various tactical strategies of ideological subversion or active measures to dismantle and deconstruct a nation state, focusing on its socio-political and economic values.
And now, EPAC Perspectives with H.G. Gerner on TNN.
Hey, everybody. It's October, excuse me. I'm way ahead of myself. September 26th, the year of our Lord 2024. You're with HG and HD on TNN, Truth Slinger News Network. I'm the founder of EPAC, and this is our show, EPAC Perspectives. Tim, how you doing today, buddy? Good to see you.
Man, I'm good, bro. How are you, man? It's good to see you.
Well, it's as usual. You know what? This has been over the last couple of hours, or actually a couple of days. There's been some interesting thing. I want to show you. I want to make this kind of a 30-minute show. We're going to cover a couple topics, but interestingly enough, I think everybody knows about Tampon Tim, the wonderful VP pick by Kamala Harris to be possibly the next president of the United States. What I want to talk to you, I'm going to show you folks a nice picture. There he is, right there. That's the guy. Well, he looks like your grandpa or your dad or something like this, but he's not a bad looking guy. But I'm telling you, what's inside his head, I'm telling you, is a little funky. This guy has. Here's the best way I can tell you, rather than try to give you my perspective. I'm gonna lay it out there for you, ladies and gentlemen, like an attorney would. I'm not an attorney, never claimed to be, love the law, but I'm going to lay it out there so that you can make your decisions. Here's what happened the other day. He was in a restaurant. I'm not sure exactly where, but in the restaurant on the wall, it had a sign. It was written in chalk: "Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy." And I love biscuits and gravy. And that's probably where the rest of that was one of their signature foods. Who knows? I don't remember the name of the restaurant. The point is they liked Timothy Walls, whatever. So having said that, he says, take a picture of that. He had his crew with him. And he said, take a picture. That means I'm that way. He says, he went up to the girls. He goes, yeah. He says, mind your own business. That's what in government. Mind your own business. And then he starts talking. I'm not supposed to say anything about your family or whatever, make comments or stuff. And so here's the interesting point. You have to go. I don't have that clip with me. Maybe Tim, Jen can find that for us. But this is an important, it gives you a look into what's inside his head. He doesn't think like everybody else does. I'm telling you, he does not. Kamala Harris doesn't think like you and I. These people have a I guess what you might say, a mindset, a purview of the world that surrounds around them. It's stunning. But more importantly, when I heard that, I had to, and then I let it sink in for a minute. And the more I thought, I go, wait a minute. Something's messed up there. What he said, I had to go back and watch it a couple of times because I never claimed to be the smartest guy in the room. But I go, wait a minute. He says, basically, he's telling you, mind your own business when it comes to this is what he said. You can see it for yourself. He's telling you, I want people to mind their own business, basically, when it comes to government or talking about your family. Well, first thing, I'm not going to talk about any family, but with the government, we're supposed to mind our own business. He wants you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that ain't right.
Mind you. Now, here's the interesting point. I'm a credentialed member of the press. Basically, he doesn't want you interjecting into the government's business. If he says so, he's a truth master. We own the truth. We own the science. Shut the fuck up. That, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to look you right dead in the eye. That's dangerous. It may not be dangerous to life and limb, but this guy wants to be the benefactor, the supplier, the benefactor, the grantor of your liberties. If you think that's not the case, I beg you to reconsider. I'm the government. I'm an elected official. Don't bother me with your bullshit. Shut the fuck up. That's exactly what he's telling you. Mind your own goddamn business. We're the government. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not think that statement, and you have to think about it for a minute. At first, I didn't catch it. Well, wait a minute. Okay. And I had to come back to it. Then the critical thinking wheels started to kick in. And next thing you know, I mean, I'm spinning out. What? Wait a minute. That's this guy. I'm telling you what, if this guy and Kamala Harris get in the White House, if they walk into the White House on January 20th, 25, as president and vice president of this country, they will finish the job that Obama started.
Oh, yeah. Gavin Newsom is terrifying, dude. The guy is scary as shit, okay? He terrified me a long, long time ago because he's
Gavin
smooth.
Newsom?
Oh, yeah, dude. I think personally, if they would have put him in the place of her, we'd be in a world of hurt right now. That's
even
more. I think.
Even more. Yeah, that guy, woo-hoo. But I'm talking about Tim Walz right now. And if I may say, and Gavin, definitely. Gavin, we did an expose, 2 days ago with our guy, our former sheriff from San Francisco, retired police department. But more importantly, Timothy Walz, man, I'm telling you what, you get a good look at that. And I could go on forever. But here's the thing that really what I want to expose. And I have a friend of mine. His name is Trevor Loudon. Trevor Loudon is a prolific author. In 2013, he published a book, 700 pages. He names the names. The book is entitled The Enemies Within. He names the names of the Marxists within our federal government, and he basically he just doesn't tell you, hey, here's a name. He actually gives you their association with the Marxist communist organizations within this nation. Now, here's an interesting point. I'm going to go off the page for just a second. In our documentary called America on the Precipice, I make a statement and I show how the demographic is. There are 1.5 million nonprofit organizations in this country. That's about 30,000 nonprofit organizations spread out over the country per state.
Wow. Hey, Hugo. Hugo, can you tell me whether Enemies of Within the Culture of Conspiracy in Modern America by Alan Goldberg, is this the guy?
No, it's by Trevor Loudon, Loudon. Trevor, Trevor. Trevor Loudon.
Hang on.
He's my friend.
All right, let me look. Right, go on.
Anyway, there are 1.5 million nonprofit organizations. Now, a lot of people have mentioned about George Soros and how he's spending money. Yeah, spend the money. He don't give a shit about nothing. He's old. Who knows how long this guy's got to live. But what I want folks to focus on is the organizations that he directly involves and sends money to. There's over 3,000 organizations directly tied to his Open Society organization.
Wow.
Back and it goes much that you go down that rabbit hole. I'll tell you, it gets pretty deep. But what I wanted to say is that that's where a lot of these organizations, especially with their elections, I got shut down by YouTube. I meant permanently canceled out because I was talking about the elections and not necessarily fraud. Okay, fraud. There is fraud here and there. You'll see, in various counties, yes. But I spoke with a guy a number of years ago. Well, just a couple of years ago. There's Trevor right there. The Enemies Within. You got to pick up that book. He's written other books too about people in the Senate. He names in that book people in the Congress and in the Senate, and many of them are still there, and there's new ones. He names the associations. But what I want to talk about is that these associations, one point, the election having to do with the elections. Many of these organizations, or especially starting back around 2000, honestly, about 2010, they went after our elections. I spoke 2 years ago in Washington, D.C. I'm sitting in the conference room with the Heritage Foundation with a young lady named Miss Lowe and Hans von Spasskovsky. Hans is one of the nation's leading authorities on election integrity and election fraud. And I says, I don't want to spend a bunch of your time here, but I appreciate it. I'd like to interview you. That may come sometime soon. He says, yeah, let's figure that out. The thing I wanted to say, though, I says, I don't think the most important thing to concentrate on, and this is, well, this is son of a bitch. This was 2019 when I spoke with him. He said, I agree. I says, I don't think it's so much the fraud that we need to concern ourselves with, because there's going to be. We need to look at how the system's been gamed. And he knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And this is what I talk about in our second documentary called Defining a Nation. There are probably right now, we estimate, all the indicators and all the data shows that there's a roughly 50 million people in this country right now living and working, but they're not citizens yet. About half of them, we estimate minimum of 25 million non-citizens are voting in our elections, and the scales have been tipped. I mean, they're way off in the Democrats' favor, and that's how you control a national election. All you need to do in any given state is have the popular vote for your candidate. The electoral votes are handed over. But more importantly, this campaign has been going on for almost a decade, since 2010. In fact, it was actually from 2012 to 2020. First, Mark Zuckerberg was involved in this,
right,
and the Marxist machine. From 2012 to 2020, the Marxist machine was able to put over 30 million. In fact, let me back up just for a second. During that 8-year period, 2012 to 2020, the voter rolls swelled by 45 million people.
Wow.
That's more people that were put on the voter rolls in that 8-year period than the prior 40 years. Having said that, look at Mark Zuckerberg on June of 2020. He announced that he was going to give or donate or I guess what you might say, offer a grant, give money to 2 nonprofit organizations. And he says, I want you to help people vote. It's called Get Out the Vote campaign.
Right.
What it was a voter registration campaign of immense proportions. Almost $500 million was put into this by Zuckerberg himself and his wife. In 5 months, they were able to register 4.5 million people. He announced 5 months later, from June, on October 26th, 2020, that he had registered more people than he could. I can't believe it. About, I would say, we estimate probably the ones he was going after were about half of them, at least half of them, to 60-70% signed up as Democrats. We don't know that. The point is, that's what Speaker of the House was talking about. This is way out of balance, way out of kilter. That's how you game the system. It's not so much rigged per se, and there's going to be fraud. You're going to see it here and there, yes, okay. But to affect the national election, all you'd have to do is game the system, and the Marxists have been working unbelievably overtime for well over almost 2 decades. There was a guy back in 2004. His name is Rob Stein. Rob Stein had died a few years ago, but after George W. Bush got the hanging charge election nod, okay, in Florida, Rob Stein went nuts. He's an ultra leftist. He got everybody together in Scottsdale, Arizona, shortly after that election, and he put a campaign together, an election campaign strategy. He says, we got to start doing what the Republicans are doing and start registering people to vote. And guess what? Not only that, he went into specific states, and then in that specific state, he went into specific counties, and he went into specific towns. And in Pennsylvania specifically, he was concentrating on turning that particular county blue. Yep. Registering people, and all you have to do is register anybody. Animal, mineral, vegetable, it doesn't matter. That's how you game the system. I called back in 2020, I called over 200, I called at least, I know of 250 county clerk's offices in many, many states randomly. And I asked them, I said, hey, ma'am, you're the county clerk, yes. And you're the registrar of votes, yes. What do you do when you get a person's registration form in to vote? And they said, well, we look to see if it's all filled out properly. Okay, everything's done. Okay, everything looks checked. Boxes are checked off, and there's some form of identification. We enter it into the database, and they get a ballot, and they can vote. And so then I had to ask the next question. It was begging to be asked. I said, what do you do to check the citizenship of the person filling out the registration form to vote? And they say, well, actually, sir, we depend on the honesty of the person filling out the form. The reason they do that is because there's no way to check the citizenship of a person filling out the form. If they don't provide proof of citizenship, it's never checked. Right, the system has been gamed. But now, having said that, this is how the Marxist machine and the Tim Walzes and the Kamala Harrises have gamed the system. Everything Tim Walz is telling you, and especially Kamala Harris, everything she's telling you, she will not fulfill. She's buying votes. We'll give you $25,000 as a down payment on a house. Okay. Who's going to pay for that? Where are you getting the money from? That's not Marxism. That's not socialism. That's not communism. That's insanityism. That's freaking insane. That's taking the taxpayer money and buying their votes. This is dangerous. These people are going to fuck this country up, and I guarantee you, mark my words. And I'm going to give you 2 more points, and then we're going to call it a day. Congresswoman Plaskett is the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee.
Oh, she's a bitch. I hate that woman, man. She's not even a voting member. She's a bitch, man. She's like from what, like our where's she from? She's from the Virgin Islands or something.
I can't remember exactly. I think it's Connecticut, but I can't remember.
She's like from the Virgin Islands. Look it up. She doesn't vote. She just bitches. That's all she does. She just bitches at everybody. It's crazy.
Well, here's the interesting point. Okay, I'm a credentialed member of the press, and when I called her office. Okay, right after that she did that, and here's my credentials right there, buddy. I called her office and I said, "Yeah, I'd like to speak to or get a statement from Congressman Plaskett or chief of staff. And this is what I said. Let me reference this. She was in committee talking about Elon Musk and how he was attacking our democracy. She was saying he's dangerous. He's feeding you disinformation and this, and everything. Okay. Yeah. But she was basically talking about the DSA. We need to shut the people the fuck up. Stop posting that shit. Here's the interesting point. She says, he's telling, here's the best way I can tell you. If I have a guy that hates me, okay, and I want to shut him up, he's posted, hey, you shut up. No. If I shut him up, I will never hear him coming. There she is. There's Plaskett right there. Yep. There you go. The point is, when I shut people up, I'll never, if they want to hurt me and I shut them up, I'll never hear them coming. That's the stupidest thing possibly ever conceived. But more importantly, this Digital Services Agencies Act that's happening in Europe, they're arresting people for posting memes and all kinds of stupid shit. Ladies and gentlemen, in society, when you silence people and you censor them, all progress stops. This Plaskett woman, she blurted out a rant of, I was stupider. It was actually the most dumbest thing I've ever, it made no goddamn, not a lick of sense, not a bit of sense. I go, what? I was tapping her head. Did I hear that right? What the hell? So I actually called her office. They said, yeah. I said, well, you know what? You need to get her to think before she opens her mouth, because I'm embarrassed for the woman. Yeah, I thought I swear to God I was, Tim. I was embarrassed for her. That it was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I was actually dumber for listening to it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, man. She I can't stand this woman, man. Every time she opens her mouth, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing there? You don't even vote. And she is like, I'm sorry, but she's the black epitome of my ex-wife. Okay? Every time I see her, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Lord Almighty, this is my freaking ex-wife, you know? She's such a bitch, man. She's terrible.
Well, let me say this, and here's the best part, and you nailed it. This is why I love you, Tim. You brought out exactly how she had to put the race card in there. She said, you're going after black people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't listen to me, whatever, don't listen to me. I want you to do one thing and tell old Hugo to just shut the fuck up. If you do anything, you've got to go search it on Google. Listen to her talk. She's the ranking member. How did she get to that position? It's stunning. You've got to listen to her talk about Elon Musk and how he's dangerous and how he's basically a racist guy.
That lady is crazy lady, man. Crazy lady. Just nutso Mookie Fester, man. Just batshit fucking crazy, man. I listen to these hearings all the time, right? And it's like, everything's fucking going fine, you know. Everybody's saying reasonable things. Everybody's saying reasonable things, responsible things. Then all of a sudden a Democrat will come by and go, you know, Donald Trump is such a dick. He's just a dick. And I'm just going, what planet are you people living on, man? I mean, that's all that's a hearing is like, we're gonna present some facts. And then, you know, Donald Trump is such a dick. Do you know he's a dick? It's like, all right, well, thank you very much for the fact that Donald Trump is a dick, but I'm kind of getting tired of hearing how Donald Trump is a dick. Why don't you tell me about something else?
We're in committee here talking about, that's off the topic. Well, he's a dick. And okay, here's a great one. The Secretary of Commerce, the other day, she said that we need to extinguish him forever. We need to extinguish Donald Trump.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Extinguish him? Okay. It needs to be extinguished permanently. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, you wonder why. And here's just recently, Laura Logan posted some stuff. There's an Iranian crew here right now. And apparently, from what I understand, this is some of the intel on the inside. We don't know if this is fact, but I wouldn't put past an Iranian because they don't think like people. These guys, for the most part, are ignorant Bedouin tribesmen. 90% of them are. And a bunch of them are over here trying to set up and kill Donald Trump. And from what I understand, this is the news. They've got missiles, heat-seeking missiles that they smuggled into the country. Who knows? And guess what? They're going to try to take his plane out. Ladies and gentlemen, go to my website if you want or whatever. Go to Rumble and go to EPAC LLC. I just posted a couple of days ago. If Donald Trump can stay alive, this is the heading. If Donald Trump can stay alive and win in November, Kamala Harris will not certify his election.
You're right.
This guy.
You're absolutely right about that. But I cannot help. Okay, I cannot help but thinking about a bunch of Iranians taking out the president of the United States with a missile or a RPG, and I think to myself, I mean, I get what you're saying, right? They're rubbing two sticks together. So I'm just kind of like going, make it make sense to me, man.
Here's the best way I can tell you. I worked in the oil field for a number of years, okay? And we'll close with this. And Mayo Monkey, I love you. Mayo, he talked about, I want to talk with this guy. We need to get him on the show.
His name is Mick, by the way.
Mick, you got it. We need to talk to that guy. I like, but anyway, what I wanted to say, I was in the oil field. My grandfather was in the oil field, old wildcatter. And many people that I know of have been over to the Middle East drilling for oil, okay? Here's the interesting point I want to say. Drillers that are over here will basically go, or tool pushers will go over there and drill, okay? Anyway, the point is that they will hire the locals to do the floor work. That's make the connections, if you understand that.
Yeah.
So having said that, they will show them, okay, Habib, it turns to the right. By the end, okay, they have to pray 5 times a day, but by the end of the day, they're tightening that. They got it. They got turn to the right. Okay, cool, good, God. The next damn day, when they come in, you got to show them the damn shit all over again.
Yeah. I saw all the videos about the guys when they take them over there and they're trying to make them do jumping jacks. Have you ever seen that video? Just 10 guys, let's just all do jumping jacks all together, right? How do you think that went? Okay. I mean, that's exactly what the hell you're talking about. Okay. They're like, they're not the same class. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying and the fear mongering and all of that stuff, man, but we just got to get our heads out of our asses.
Well, a lot of people have woken up, and Mayo Monkey, if there was a threat like this, it would be public and posted by the FAA. How I think for the most part, I have a friend of mine, and I checked with this Mayo. He's a former DOD. He's connected directly to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's retired out of there, but he has major connections. The guy is a dean of a small college in Washington D.C. This threat is credible, Mayo. It is not out in the open. This is not something they particularly want out in the open, because if you alert them, they're slippery these Iranians are slippery little bastards, but they're dumb as shit. They're dumb as a stump. And I have to agree, Mayo. That's 100%. But we're going to sign off right now. We got stuff we got to do. We got to keep this world together. We got to get Trump to walk into the White House on January 20th, 2025, as the President of the United States, number 47.
Yeah, man.
God bless everybody. Tim, I love you. Jen, we love you. We got avocados coming your way here pretty soon. Everybody, this Saturday, 5 p.m., part 2 part 2, everybody, of the San Francisco Police Department retired police officer. We're going to be talking a little bit more about some of the things with Governor Newsom, because we have to understand that much of what we see about Governor Newsom is going to be exposed. And this is not so much to discredit him, but what we want to show you is give you information that might affect your decision making if he decides to run for president. We want our elected officials to be of the highest moral character. And apparently this guy is a little bit twisted. So having said that, I'm out of here, everybody. God bless. Tim, we love you. Jen, we love you. We'll see you next Saturday, 5 p.m., everybody. Talk to you soon.
Mo.